Senator Bernie Sanders, independent from Vermont, addressed striking United Auto Workers members in Detroit on Friday, throwing his support behind a first of its kind strike against the big three automakers. The fight you are waging here is not just about decent wages and working conditions and pensions in the automobile industry, Sanders told the crowd. It is a fight to take on corporate greed and tell the people on top this country belongs to all of us, not just a few. UAW began a strike against the big three automakers, Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis Friday morning. The union is demanding increased wages, shorter work weeks, and better retirement benefits. Sanders said the fight is much larger than just auto workers and impacts every working American fighting for greater economic equality. That is why every worker in America, white collar, blue collar, and in between, has got to stand with UAW in your struggle for justice, he said. The progressive senator said that the average auto worker salary has decreased by 30% in the last 50 years when adjusted for inflation. That comes industry revenues and executive compensation have skyrocketed. Profits at the big three firms increased 92% in the last decade, and CEO pay increased by 40% in the same period, according to an analysis from the Economic Policy Institute. Despite all of that wealth, brothers and sisters, and you know this well, 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. Sanders says it's actually apparently now, it went from 63 to apparently 64. I grew up in a family that lived paycheck to paycheck. I know a little bit about that. This is the richest country in the history of the world, and families in America, families in the automobile industry should not have to live with that kind of stress. The strikes are a culmination of 6 months of negotiations between automakers and the union. The union has turned down offers from all three firms, saying they came up short. President Biden on Friday encouraged the companies to increase their offers in remarks. I believe they should go further, record corporate profits, which they have, should be shared by record contracts for the UAW. No one wants a strike, but I respect workers' rights to use their options under the collective bargaining system. I understand the workers' frustration. Sanders ended his speech with remarks for automaker leadership. I would like to say a word to the CEOs of General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis. Understand, CEOs, the enormous financial sacrifices your workers have made over the years, he said. It is time for you to end your greed. It is time for you to treat your employees with the respect and dignity they deserve. It is time to sit down and negotiate a fair contract. Well, I don't think it's a surprise to say that I agree. I wish that we would get more discussions about labor and just the state of the worker. You know, like when they say big three companies, I actually my mind blank on Stellantis because I usually only hear about Ford and General Motors. And that statistic that he mentioned about the profits at the big three firms increasing by 92%. And we still have these. Oh, and the CEO pay increasing by 40%. So the CEOs have been able to almost double the amount of money that they make, because 40 is not that off from 50. I guess I should say they've been able to increase their specific profits by 2/5, while the profits of the business have gone up almost 100%, 92%, and wages just stay the same for the regular workers. They just can't afford to pay people an extra $1, $2, $5. Really? And this goes back to why I said I always have such a hard time liking a lot of what's the way of putting it? I always have a difficult time accepting some of the things that are said where if you have a company that's not a mom and pop shop, right? These are the big three automakers, and their profits have gone up almost 100%. The people at the top were able to get wage increases by not just a little bit, 40%. We're not even talking about a 40% increase for workers' pay. It could be 5%, 10%, 15. I mean, but it's like I'm supposed to believe that companies that are seeing record-breaking increases in profits and are able to have their CEOs stuff their pockets with even more money can't give people an extra few dollars. I'm really supposed to buy into that. And I know a lot of people are praising Biden, and we're supposed to, all hope that he gets reelected. But I wish this is one of those things where I wish he took more of an affirmative stance. Like, why isn't he going to this rally and saying, instead of issuing a statement, no one wants to strike, but I respect workers' rights to you. No, he should go to the rally and just like Sanders talk about the ridiculous increases in profits and in the compensation of the people at the top, but then the regular employees aren't getting anything else or any more than they had before. He should mention that, and he should show up. But no, he thinks he puts out his little statement, and that's good enough, I guess. I can't even think of any re-election event he's done since he announced. This would be an ideal one to have, however. So it's another sad story of corporate greed, and I really think that I hope if this strike goes on further, which I think it will, because CEOs are basically, you'd have an easier time getting them to burn all their money than actually give someone a marginal increase in their wage. But I hope that at some point more and more workers get sick of these wages. They get sick of just everything associated with working today. Um, Whether it have to do with very few vacation days, again, just crap wages. And these companies realize that we're not all just disposable trash that you can just replace at the snap of a finger. When you piss off enough people to where they all just stop coming in, your money can buy you things, but it can't buy you new humans to go and work your job. So I hope that the strike is successful in getting their intended goals. That they get higher wages, and that the CEOs are able to actually have, like just a little bit of empathy. Just not a whole bunch, because of course when you're a company you always have to try to meet your bottom line. But they're thriving. 92% increase in profits. They're doing very well, along with the pay raise for themselves too. So they should have no problem being able to give people a marginal increase in the amount that they're trying to make to take care of themselves. You would think, but of course with CEOs, wage increases and better work conditions are like pulling teeth.